All right, here's a quick look at the file browser, IMCE browser for your WYSIWYG editor. So what we're going to do is we're just going to jump into creating some content really quickly here. Say it's just a blog post, and we'll just give this a quick test title. And what we're going to be concerned with is down here in the WYSIWYG editor, say when we click on images. And this pulls up just a little bit of an image properties browser, and then if we want to get into the full file browser, we're just going to click on Browse Server, and we have our full browser here. And you can see up here at the top we have the ability to upload from our desktop. We have the ability to create thumbnails. We can delete a file. We can resize an image. We can crop an image. We can rename a file or rename a folder. We can manage our directories, and we can insert a file. So depending on what level of access you have, you won't have root access, but you'll have access to everything that's collected on the website as for you and your records. Everything's under assets. You can see that there's our videos and our main images and our image gallery stuff that we have from before or from other areas of the site in the audio. So we can start to create folders and subfolders and whatever here. So let's just do that now. Let's just create a subfolder. Let's create a subdirectory of, let's call it my stuff. Now, one thing I try to stay away from is actually having spaces in any of my folders and stuff like that. The only reason for that, and as you can see, there's spaces in here, and that works just fine. I just find that when sending the newsletters and stuff like that, that if there's any spaces in your folders, it doesn't tend to read too well, and that's covered in the newsletter tutorial. So we're just going to just leave this all as one word, my stuff. If we wanted to, we can click add. And then you can see that my stuff is shown there, and then we can open that up and we can add more directories or whatever in there. Okay, so let's just quickly upload. We can quick browse our desktop, and then we can check our images, and we can hit we can upload whatever one we want. Let's just click that and upload it. And we can click browse again and upload another one. And then when we're done, we'll just close that off. You can see there's our images there. And if we want, we can resize this. It's probably handy even to resize it. I also find giving a little more space to the images helps a little bit more with when you're doing the cropping. So, but we'll get to that in a moment. So then once we have our images up there, we can rename them if we'd like. One thing to keep in mind though is we rename them before we use them. If we use them in our content and then rename them later, the link to that image will be broken. So just keep that in mind. So rename it now, and I always try to keep no spaces within any of the file names. Just a good web practice to not have any spaces. So if you're going to put in spaces, just use an underscore or a dash, hyphen, whatever. Or a dot, whatever you need to kind of fill those spaces. Okay, so we'll start by creating a thumbnail. So if we wanted to create a thumbnail with our gentleman here, we just hit thumbnails, and we can hit, create 90 by 90 and hit create thumbnail. And there we go. Now we've created a thumbnail. You can also see that the original is still there, and the thumbnail has been made, so it says thumb. So that's really nice and handy, so that if we want to make something smaller, we can directly from in here, and we can also move along and delete if we'd like. And there it goes, right from the server, gone. And we can also resize our images, so we click resize. We can resize to a particular width and height if we knew what those are. So if we knew we wanted to do it 100 pixels, we can then do that, and then click on the next box, and it maintains the restraints, the proportions. So if we said this was going to be 200, and then clicked over here, and it would be 199. So let's just close that up and just take a look at the other file here. That's not so. Oh, we just uploaded the same one. Okay, let's upload a different one here. There we go. Okay, so now we have one that, oh, it's square as well. Let's try that one more time here. Let's go back in and browse server. Let's upload another one that's not so perfectly square here. So let's take a look here. These guys aren't. All right, let's upload that. Okay, now once it's uploaded, and then if we go back to the resize, and then we put in our proportions, let's say 100, you can see that it maintains the ratio of the image, so which is really nice, and it also creates a new image of that one. So there's the resized version, and there's the original version, really nice and handy. And the other one is we can also crop it, and this is where, you know, kind of adjusting your kind of cropping area works a little bit better for you. So we're just going to grab our area, so we wanted to focus in on this woman. We can just go like that, and then we can click crop, and our cropped image shows up there. There it is there, all nice, and you can see that there's our original image, and there's our cropped image, and then we can just go ahead and send her into, so we can hit insert file, or we can just click on the image there to send it in. Let's just go back to browse server so we can finish some more stuff that's in here. We can manage directories and rename. So renaming a file, like I mentioned before, renaming a file, making sure that we rename it before we use it. We don't rename it after we use it. We just, if we've renamed it, used it, don't mess with it, because then if you reuse it over and over in several spots, you'd have to go and change that location. So we can name it whatever we want. Oops, let's put in some proper coding here, proper file names. There we go. And click rename, and you can see it's been renamed successfully, really nicely. And manage directories, again, you know, add or remove directories, and again, the insert file. I also heard that in the future there will be, in the release of IMCE, there is the ability to browse by thumbnail. Currently, only if it's a small image, it actually shows a little thumbnail here. But in the new release, there'll be, I've seen a button in some of the dev releases that it allows you to browse by thumbnail, which is really handy when you have a lot of images and you don't want to have to go by these long strings of names. So keep an eye out for that, for those changes in the future. But in the meantime, we get what we get, and let's see, what else can we do here? So one thing that I can't overemphasize is making sure that you're naming your files is done correctly, and spending some time just getting familiar with this area. Anyways, thank you very much for watching.